With the release of the Cybertruck being as rough and as controversial as it was, Elon Musk has decided to make things right by fixing all of the issues of the Cybertruck, as well as introducing all new features. The upcoming model year will be monumental for the weird EV truck, as it will increase the quality, introduce all new features, and leave a generally better impression than the initial run did. Quality. A world of change awaits. One of the biggest gripes that people had with the Tesla Cybertruck was the utter lack of quality that Tesla exhibited with it. To put it simply, the Cybertruck was probably one of the least refined cars of 2024 thanks to its non-existent quality control, utilization of experimental tech, solutions, and manufacturing techniques, as well as a generally rushed release to the public. If a 5-year wait can ever be considered rushed. Anyhow, owners, buyers, and reviewers alike were all keen to point out the major faults that the Cybertruck manifested, and they were quick at that too. Most owners have complained about completely misaligned panels, thoroughly inconsistent panel gaps, and even some missing or, at the very least, loose trim pieces on the outside. These issues were a result of two things. The first was the substandard manufacturing methods, which weren't adapted to the Cybertruck's much harder and less flexible stainless steel, which would spring back a bit, therefore resulting in uneven panel gaps. The second issue was mostly the result of rushed production, which is, frankly, something we grew accustomed to when talking about Tesla. Oh, and did we mention that the stainless steel wasn't exactly, well, stainless? Oh no, it stained pretty quickly and showed patina everywhere if improperly washed, cleaned, or even driven, which thoroughly destroyed the Cybertruck's image. Thankfully, though, Tesla has decided to fix these issues for the 2025 model year. The first step they'll take is to adapt their production methods, compensate for the stainless steel's stiffness, and employ new, more radical, and far more efficient methods of quality control. In addition to that, the overall quality control will also be improved drastically, as Tesla isn't in a rush anymore to put out the initial Cybertrucks onto the market, which will give them time to better assess and check their vehicles. On the other hand, the patina will be fixed through the utilization of a see-through film that the truck will be wrapped with, which, if we're being honest, kind of defeats the whole point of offering a stainless steel truck. This film is already offered as an optional extra. However, Tesla will make it a standard feature in the upcoming model year. Unfortunately, this will be a temporary solution until Tesla finds a way to completely eliminate this problem. In addition to this, you can also expect general quality updates, especially on the inside, where Tesla will employ finer materials for the higher trim levels, such as open-pore wood, leatherette-wrapped dashboard, and nicer seats that will take the shape of those seen on the pre-production model. Features. New and improved features. Apart from increasing the quality control of the vehicles, Tesla will also improve the features that are currently present on the Cybertruck, as well as introduce some all-new ones. The first thing you should expect is a true-to-God pre-production version of the Tesla Cybertruck. What we're talking about are all those promised features that Tesla failed to deliver with the release. Like, for example, the completely wiper-less window. In addition to that, Tesla will also introduce the center front seat, which has been missing from the release. This seat, which resides between the driver and passenger, can be folded down and used as an armrest for those times when you're not driving around your family, but is also highly valuable for those of us who have 4 children or are constantly moving around a lot of people. Additionally, 2025 will also introduce digital mirrors instead of conventional ones, further improving upon the radicality of the concept of the Cybertruck. That said, those of you who like the more conventional side of the Tesla Cybertruck's current model need not worry, as all of these additions will come as an equipment package and will not be forced upon you. At least not yet. Tesla plans on integrating them into all other Cybertrucks further down the line. However, this way of introducing them will allow both customers to get more accustomed to such a change, as well as enable Tesla to harmlessly test out the market for them. In addition to that, the steering wheel will be swapped out for the one introduced with the new Tesla Model 3. This is because quite a bit of people were annoyed by the almost rectangular shape of the current one, saying that it is extremely unergonomic for driving around and very uncomfortable to work with, especially when going around town. Drivetrains new and improved. Apart from general tech features, you can expect an expanded array of drivetrains that will introduce quite a bit of necessary stuff to the lineup. First and foremost, we will finally be getting a rear-wheel drive version of the Cybertruck. This version will be the cheapest entry into the model. The rear-wheel drive model will also be the weakest entry of them all, which might sound disheartening. However, the power output will be more than enough for most people. You can expect around 300 horsepower from it, practically tying it with the entry-level gas-powered full-size pickup trucks. This version will have only one electric motor, which will be situated at the back and will have a towing capacity of around 7,000 pounds, which isn't great. However, it will be more than serviceable for those of us who just like the Cybertruck and don't care about its trucking capabilities all that much. We'll discuss the pricing a little bit later too, but first, we also need to check other drivetrain and powertrain improvements. In addition to this, you will also be able to spec out the long-range version for it and the all-wheel drive model in the form of a range extender battery. The rear-wheel drive version, which is expected to have around 350 miles of range, without the range extender will now be able to do around 500 miles on a single charge, making it easily one of the best vehicles in this regard out of all of its rivals. The all-wheel drive model, which has a range of 325 miles, will have 450 miles of range, which is less, sure, but it is still more than enough for most people. And given the fact that it has double the horsepower and is much more capable overall, we consider this range pretty good for a vehicle of this type. However, there will also be an addition of an all-new variant of the Cybertruck, which is the Cyber Beast Plaid. This 1,100-plus horsepower monstrosity will be the most powerful pickup truck of all time, powered by 4 electric motors, and will have a projected 0 to 60 time of just 2 seconds. It will effortlessly laugh in the face of the Rivian R1T's quad-motor version, which was the most powerful pickup truck up until now. Overall, this 4-trim setup with an optional range extender battery will be more than sufficient for even the neediest of folks. Peripherals, a truly modular Cybertruck. Even before the Cybertruck was released, we were promised a truly modular, all-purpose vehicle that would be suitable for utility, sport, camping, heck, everything. And then we fell literally flat on our noses when the Cybertruck hit the market, and none of this promised additional equipment was made available to us. Well, thankfully, Elon Musk has come to his senses, and he finally decided to grace us with all of these features. You know how they say, better late than never. The first, and the one that was advertised the most, was the tent that could be fitted atop the bed, allowing for truly safe camping outdoors. The idea behind this is to keep you and whoever else occupies the tent elevated from the ground to prevent critters, insects, and other vermin from entering it and annoying you. Plus, it'll keep you safe from stuff like mountain lions and predators that could easily shred the tent to pieces if it were on the ground. In addition to that, you will also be able to kit out your Tesla with MOLLE panels that will allow you to carry tools, equipment, and whatnot inside of the truck bed, as well as on the truck's exterior. This will bring a whole new dimension of organizing your stuff, as well as grant you much more space in the bed and the interior. The MOLLE panels will be available for the rear quarter panels, which will be ideal for storing smaller tools or some arbitrary exterior necessities. You'll also be able to fit them to the rear lower doors, which can be used for storing ski boots or similar. Next up, the bed will get a lot of these MOLLE panels that will allow you to save space thoroughly, which will definitely be necessary if you opt for the range extender battery, which will reduce bed space. Finally, there will be a MOLLE roof rack, which will be superior to regular roof racks because it'll allow a much better and easier way of stabilizing and fixing your items in place. All in all, we adore these additions, as they will all keep the vehicle as modular as possible and will also make the Cybertruck look much more rugged and work-oriented and increase overlanding capabilities. Price: more affordable, but still a long way to go. We were promised a cheap entry point for the Cybertruck, and we were all disappointed by the fact that, well, the cheapest Cybertruck cost over $80,000. Thankfully, this will have changed now, as Tesla will readjust the prices and make them much closer to the initial pricing idea, and with the addition of the rear-wheel drive, the entry point will be far cheaper than before. The rear-wheel drive model is expected to start from around $50,000, which is more than a $30,000 reduction for the current entry point of the Tesla Cybertruck. Now sure, this will be a drastically weaker vehicle, and it won't be nearly as intriguing to true Tesla Cybertruck fans. However, it is nice to see a full-size electric pickup truck that has an approachable price, and it represents one step forward in terms of actual sustainability for EVs next to gas vehicles. The all-wheel drive price will also be reduced, and it will now set you back some $70,000, which admittedly is a lot. However, considering the fact that this is a 600 horsepower pickup truck that can tow up to 11,000 pounds, we're honestly not really surprised and consider the price pretty okay. It makes it neck to neck with the Rivian R1T's twin motor base version, which is good enough for us. As for the Cyber Beast, it will set you back some $90,000 to $95,000, which is pretty expensive, but then again, this is a pickup truck that can do the quarter mile in under 11 seconds, and that kind of pretty performance is sure to cost a pretty penny. The new range-topping Cyber Beast Plaid will be more expensive though, and it'll cost around $120,000. However, we should mention that it will come with all of the goodies that we've mentioned, especially that missing pre-production tech. Unfortunately, the range extender battery won't be available for either of the Cyber Beasts, which means that you'll be limited to 250 and 200 miles of range, respectively. As for the Ranger extender for all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drives, it'll set you back an additional $16,000 atop the asking price, and you'll have to install it after purchasing the vehicle, which, when taking into consideration that it'll eat up your bed space, will be a big trade-off for some of us that value utility over range. Therefore, we'd argue that this is only worth it for those of you who intend to do a lot of miles or a lot of towing with your Cybertruck and don't care about the truck bed all that much.